Hello, everyone. Welcome to the classroom. Sue, come out and say hi to our friends. So today we have a very special day. We're going to do some reviewing. All this week, our theme has been the circus. So today we're going to see if we remember the letters that we've been learning, and we have some other extra fun things to do as well. We're going to end our day by making some juggling balls, and we're going to read a story called Circus Caps for Sale. Are you ready to get started? Okay, me too. Well, Sue's going to sit down because it's time for us to do our job. We've got to feed Fred. Hi, Fred. Here's some fish food for you. Well, let's turn around now and see what day it is. The month is still May. And let's reach into our can and see how we will count. Today, we are going to stand up and sit down. So get ready to stand up and sit down as we say each number. You ready? Stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Today is May 17th. Can you say that? May 17th. If you go all the way up to the top, you can see that today starts with the letter F. Letter F we learned about this week. Letter F says F, F, F. So what day starts with that sound? Friday. It is Friday. Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. There's Sunday and there's Monday. There's Tuesday and there's Wednesday. Thursday and there's Friday. And then there's Saturday. Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. Well, it is time to look outside the window and see what your weather looks like today. Are you having a sunny day or a cloudy day or a rainy day or a windy day? When I do like this, you just shout it out. What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? It is out today. It is out today. Okay, let's dress Weather Bear. Weather Bear, we're going to put on a shirt for you and your overall shorts. And what's the season? Spring. Good job. Well, that was our calendar time, and now it's time for our letters of the day. We're going to see if you remember all the letters that we worked on this week. On Monday, we worked on this letter. What letter is this? Letter C, and C was for circus clowns. What does letter C sound like? But on Monday, we learned that letter C has two sounds. When C comes before E, I, or Y, what sound does it make? S, like a snake, and like letter S. On Tuesday, we learned this letter. Do you remember this letter? Letter A. Good job. A was for circus animals like tigers. And what does A sound like? Ah, as in achoo. We got a visit from our vowel friend A that day. And then on Wednesday, we did this letter. What letter is this? It's letter F. F was for circus foods. We made some puffy paint cotton candy. What does letter F say? Very good. And then yesterday we learned this letter. What letter is this? P. And P was for circus performers. And what does P say? Pa, 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 like popcorn popping. Pa, 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 pa. Well, good job. You remembered. You can recognize the letter and you remember the sound the letter makes. Do you remember how to write each of those letters? Let's practice that for just a moment. I'm going to call it a letter and you see if you can write the letter on your whiteboard or on your paper or just skywrite it. Okay, so let's see if we can write the letter C. Letter C without looking. Oh. Can you write uppercase C and lowercase c? All right, are you ready to see if you remembered? Is that what you wrote? To write a C, you just curve around. Big C and little c look the same. One is big and one is small. All right, let's erase and or you can just use your regular paper and get ready to write the next one. This time write letter A. What does A look like? Write uppercase and lowercase a. Okay, I'm ready. Are you ready? Okay. Did you get it right? Good job. Big A and little a don't look anything alike. All right, we're going to get ready to write the next one. So the next one is going to be letter F. What does F look like? Let's write it. I'll write mine and you write yours. See if we can write it from our memory. I'm ready. Are you ready? Okay. There's letter F. That's uppercase F and lowercase f. Remember, lowercase f looks like a candy cane. Very good. Okay, so next we're going to get ready to write our last letter, letter P. The one that we learned yesterday. Okay, I'm ready. Are you ready to show your letter P? Okay. Ta-da! Good job. I'm going to give you a sticker. I'll give you rainbow stickers for all that hard work, remembering all those letters. That's for you. Well, now we know how to recognize and write, and we know the sounds that those letters we worked on this week are. So next we're going to do a fun activity with syllables. So I'm going to read a word and we're going to see if we can decide how many syllables the word has. When I say syllables, I just mean how many times can we divide the word to make it smaller so we can learn how to read it in small chunks and then put it all together. You can hear syllables when you say a word. Listen to this first one. Ringmaster. I'm going to clap it out. Ringmaster. How many times did I clap? 3. Ringmaster has 3 syllables. Let's try this one. Big top. Big top. That has 2 syllables, doesn't it? All right, let's try this one. And I can even draw lines to show you how to divide it. So this divides between the 2 words. Clown. Clown. That one just has 1 syllable. How about ticket? Ticket. How many claps? 2. Ticket has 2 syllables. How about circus? Circus. Circus has 2. And what about ring? Ring. That one just has 1. Oh, here's a good one. Elephant. 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 How many syllables? 3. Very good. Elephant. Elephant. How about this one? Lion. Lion. That one actually has 2. Lion. Lion. For every vowel sound that you hear, that's a syllable. So I is actually long. Lie, that's an open syllable. On, lion, lion. All right, let's try this one. Seal. Seal has 1 syllable. Bear. Bear has 1 syllable. Cotton. Cotton. 2 syllables. How about candy? Candy has 2 syllables. Well, you did a great job today for our reading time. We just kind of worked on syllables for just a moment, and now it's time for math. For math today, we're going to be doing something extra special. We've done it before. It's called counting on, but this is maybe a little harder than we've done in the past. We're going to start with a big number, and we're going to keep counting on to see how many total. So take a look right here. I have a number 11, but I want to add 4 more. So I'm going to start with the 11 and then just keep counting on. 11 and then 12, 13, 14, 15. So 11 and 4 more equals 15. So that's a big learning today, isn't it? All right, let's do the next one. All right, we're going to start with 13, and let's keep counting on. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 13 plus 5 equals 18 total. All right, let's do the next one. We're going to start with 10, and we're going to count on. So what comes after 10? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 10 plus 6 equals 16. All right, we're going to start with 15, and we're going to count on. 15, 16. 15 plus 1 is 16. Good job. How about 16 plus 3? Start with 16. 17, 18, 19. 16 plus 3 equals 19. All right, next, 14 plus 6 more. Let's count on. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 14 plus 6 equals 20. Well, you did a great job counting on. Counted on some big numbers, so that was pretty awesome. Well, next is time for music. Well, for music today, we're just going to be doing a fun song with a balloon. If you don't have a balloon, you could just pretend that you have a balloon, or you could use a ball, or you could crumple up a piece of paper and use that. I'm just going to be bouncing or throwing the balloon up and catching it. This is the way we bounce the balloon, bounce the balloon, bounce the balloon. This is the way we bounce the balloon at the circus. Let's do that again. You ready? This is the way we bounce the balloon, bounce the balloon, bounce the balloon. This is the way we bounce the balloon at the circus. Maybe you want to get a balloon or a ball, and maybe you want to continue singing that today. That was our music time, and now it's time for us to make something, some juggling balls. Let's go over to the art table. So here we are at the art table, and we're going to make juggling balls, and we're going to be using a balloon, two balloons actually. Two balloons make one juggling ball. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to take a balloon and we're going to cut this part off right here, this part that's kind of like the neck part. And it works best if you have two different colored balloons. You don't have to though, but that would make the juggling ball a little bit cooler to look at. But you don't have to do that. All right, so I'm just going to cut off the neck of the balloon. And then I just took a water bottle and I cut the top part off of it so that it could be a little funnel. And you might even have a little funnel, but I didn't, so I'm going to just use this. I'm going to put the balloon just over this part of the bottle, just like that. So I'm going to pour in some rice, or actually I'm using quinoa, but you can use rice. The lesson plan says to use rice, and that would be just fine. You might even use beans if you don't have rice. I'm just going to pour in some of this down into the balloon. Keep going and make sure that it's full. It looks like it is. Use my marker just to poke it a little bit. It looks like that's full, so I'm going to take this off. In fact, I might pour a little bit out so it doesn't spill when I try to take it off. Oh, it did spill. Mine was very full. Yours probably won't be quite so full. All right, so I'm going to put this over to the side for just a minute, and then I'm going to fill up the other balloon. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just take and cut off the neck part of the balloon, and I'm going to put it on the funnel. Pour some rice or quinoa or beans inside. All right. Just going to keep going until it's full. All right, try not to make a mess. All right, so I have two of these filled up. So what I'm going to do is take the other balloon and cut off the neck of it. And I'm going to use it to go around this to make the rice not come out. You might need a grown-up because this takes a couple of hands to do. All right, so I'm just going to put this around the first balloon, just all the way around it like that. Just tucking that right in. Okay. So there you have it. That's one juggling ball. There's one. And you can cut that a little wider and you'll actually be able to see the yellow if you did, if you wanted to. That was how you make it look really cool with two different colored balloons. So we're going to do the other one. I already have that one filled up. So I'm just going to use my scissors to help me hold it. And then I'm just going to, let me cut this first. Cut off the neck part. And then stick that right there. And then just take this with my two hands and open it up. I'm just going to stretch it over this one. Okay, there you have it. And I might even try to cut a little extra of this neck off. Or maybe I can just fold it back a little bit. Okay, well, it's okay. I can leave it like that, or I can kind of trim it a little bit. You don't want to cut the other bag. Okay, just try to trim it just a little bit. Okay, so it's just not flapping like that. So there you have it. Those are my two juggling balls. One is actually bigger than the other. Mine turned out a little different sizes, but you can try to get yours about the same size. I'm going to come around and I'll show you how to juggle. Okay, so here are my juggling balls. That was fun and a little bit messy, so maybe you want to make sure that you do that over a big bucket to catch all your rice. Well, you take your two juggling balls, if you want to learn how to juggle, and you throw one up, and then while that one's in the air, you move this one over to this hand. So let me show you. So you throw that up and move this one over. It takes a lot of practice to juggle, so don't get frustrated. Just keep trying. That one goes up and that one goes over. Up and over. Up and over. You gotta move this one quick. Up and over. You just keep practicing and you can juggle. Ta-da! All right, well, it's time for a story. And today's story is going to be called Circus Caps for Sale. Circus caps for sale. Early one morning, Pezzo the peddler woke up. He jumped out of bed and began to dress. First, he put on his socks. Next, he put on his clean white shirt. Then, he put on his fine black and white checked trousers. And last, he put on his fancy yellow shoes. Then the peddler put on his jacket and his lucky cap, picked up his wares, and was ready to go to work. The peddler walked fast as he could without upsetting his caps. For, you see, the peddler sold caps. Only instead of carrying the caps in a bundle on his back, he carried them on top of his head. First he had on his own cap. It was black and white checked. Then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. As soon as he got to town, he began to call out, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But the street was strangely quiet. No man stopped the peddler to try on a cap. No woman leaned out of a window to see if they were really good caps. No children ran after the peddler. There weren't even any dogs to follow him. But as he came nearer to the town square, the peddler began to hear the sounds of voices and loud music. Of course, he thought, it must be the county fair. Sure enough, the nearer he got, the clearer he saw that it was indeed a county fair. The Ferris wheel turned, the merry-go-round went round and round, and at the far end of the square, the peddler saw an enormous circus tent. Caps, caps for sale, the peddler began to call, but before he got to saying 50 cents a cap, boom, boom, boom went a big drum as the circus parade came around the corner. Oh, well, sighed the peddler, he is bigger than I. I'll wait until he goes by. Next, a great big bass horn came into view and began to thump. Papa, 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 pa. Oh, well, sighed the peddler, he is louder than I. I'll wait until he goes by. But what came around the corner next was not just a big drum or a loud bass horn, but the whole circus band. The trumpets shrilled, the trombones blared, and the little piccolos went tweedledee-tweedledee. The big cymbal went bong, and the tiny triangle went ping. Oh, well, sighed the peddler for the third time, there are so many of them. I'll just have to wait until they go by. The peddler saw the circus riders prance by on their plumed white horses. He saw a truckload of trained seals and dancing dogs go by. 4 striped zebras, 3 long-necked giraffes, 2 double-humped camels, and 1 huge elephant. It was a wonderful parade. Even the peddler thought so, until he met up with Jumbo. Jumbo was the circus elephant in the parade. He liked to perform tricks to amuse the crowd. Sometimes he would simply take some peanuts from a child's hand and put them in his mouth. Sometimes he would fill his trunk with water and pretend to give himself a shower. and sometimes he would steal a hat from a man in the crowd, try it on his rider's head, and return it to the stranger. Naturally, when Jumbo saw the peddler with his pile of caps, he reached for it with his long trunk. In a second, there was a very surprised elephant, a very amused crowd, and a very, very sad peddler. For all the red caps, and all the blue caps, and all the brown caps, and all the gray caps came flying down in every direction. When the tumblers, the jugglers, and the clowns saw all the caps falling, they thought it was a new trick the big boss added to the parade. So they each caught a cap and went on with their acts. The clowns clowned around in the brown caps. The tumblers tumbled in gray caps, and the jugglers did their juggling with the red and blue caps. The crowd roared with laughter. Everybody was delighted, except the peddler. Down the main street and all around the town the parade marched, with the peddler running after it, calling, my caps, please give me back my caps. But nobody paid any attention to him. Nobody even heard his voice. At last the peddler gave up. He sat down on a bench under a big tree and watched the parade disappear around the corner. When the parade was over, the circus people gathered in the big top to congratulate the big boss on his clever new trick. Thank you, my friends, said the big boss, but I had nothing to do with it. Then who did? Asked the jugglers. Who did? Asked the tumblers. Who did? Asked the clowns. Jumbo did, said Joe, the elephant rider. And he told the circus people about the little peddler. Joe also tried to show how the peddler carried all his caps, but when he got to the first brown cap, all the caps fell down. Then one of the clowns tried to put on the caps, but when he got to the first blue cap, all the caps fell down. Everybody tried. Even one of the jugglers tried, but when he got to the last red cap, all the caps fell down. Aha, said the big boss, perhaps it is not such an easy trick after all. And if it's not such an easy trick to do, my friends, does it not belong in a circus? Yes, yes, shouted all the circus people. So the big boss sent two tall men to find the little peddler. The peddler was not at all hard to find, for he was still sitting on the bench under the tree, thinking his sad thoughts. Come quickly, said the two tall men. The big boss himself wants to talk to you. So the peddler went. Hello there, said the big boss to the peddler. They tell me you can carry all these caps on your head without even dropping a single one. Neat trick, I say, if you can do it. Yes, sir, said the peddler. He knelt in front of the caps. First, he put the bunch of brown caps on top of the bunch of gray caps. Then he put the bunch of blue caps on top of the bunch of brown caps. Then on the very top, he put the bunch of red caps. Very carefully, he picked up the whole pile and put it on top of his own black and white checked cap. Then slowly, very slowly, he got up from his knees and began to walk around, calling out, caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap. Bravo, bravo, shouted the big boss. Bravo, bravo, shouted the rest of the circus people. How would you like to do your act for the circus ring? Asked the big boss. I don't know, stammered Pezzo. I'm only a peddler who sells caps. But if you really want me to. Of course we do, said the big boss. There's nobody else like you. That evening, when the circus lights went on, the show was really grand. There were horse riders and elephant drivers. There were trained lions and tame tigers. There were dancing dogs and talking seals. There were tightrope walkers and jugglers, and tumblers and clowns. And of course, there was the peddler. Everyone did their acts very well, but most of all, the people liked the peddler. They clapped and whistled when they saw how he carried, on top of his own black and white checked cap, the gray caps, the brown caps, the blue caps, and on the very top, the red caps, without dropping a single one. The peddler was delighted. He walked around the ring, feeling very straight and tall, and calling, caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap. After the show, Pezzo the peddler sold all his gray, brown, blue, and red caps. Someone even wanted to buy his own black and white checked cap. But the peddler wouldn't part with it. It was his lucky cap, he said, and besides, it matched his own black and white checked trousers. The end. Well, that was a fun story, and I hope you had a fun week. We learned all about the circus. I'll see you next week, and we'll have some more learning fun. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.